Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Disney's The Marvels is breaking records again and again. Unfortunately, it's not the records that they really want to break, with an absolutely abysmal opening weekend box office. Week-to-week drop-off of 78% is not exactly what Disney wanted, but it is not surprising to people who have been following all the nonsense behind the scenes and who watched the movie with a little bit more than a shill brain, and that might be an insult to some people, but hey, I'm sorry. The original movie wasn't that good. Captain Marvel was not that good. Carol Danvers was not an interesting character. She was ultimately a Mary Sue, a character that was given everything to them. Did not have a struggle, did not have a character, mostly a plank of wood throughout the entire movie. And the Marvels suffered from even more than an uninteresting character. According to this article from Screen Rant, why the Marvels? Oh, Screen Rant has figured it out. I wonder if they'll insult toxic masculinity like every single other article. The reason why the movie's not succeeding is because, all the toxic man babies can't stand a strong female, blah, 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 blah. We're getting to the point where people are sick and tired of hearing this nonsense. Your average moviegoer who just wants to sit down and watch a fun movie, which apparently The Marvels is, because that's all I'm seeing all over social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. Oh, it was such a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. Over and over and over again. Now, if this was true, it would have made more than $47 million domestically in its opening weekend. And if it was such a fun movie and all these people loved it just so much, word of mouth would not have destroyed this movie with a 78% drop. The worst in MCU history. Worse than, worse than The Flash. I don't think The Marvels is going to make more money at the box office than The Flash. And with a budget of over $250 million, easily closer to being over $300 million, there is no possible way The Marvels is going to make any money. This will be, yet again, a box office disaster for Disney. But let's see what Screen Rant has to say. The Marvel's box office failure can only get worse. Well, of course it can, because, an opening weekend, domestic, $47 million. Oof. Five Nights at Freddy's made more money at the theater in its opening weekend than I think The Marvels has made so far. But let's see. Here's the summary. The Marvel's commercial failure grows even bigger as more potential viewers get discouraged from watching the movie. That would be word of mouth. Word of mouth will make or break a movie, regardless of what these shill review sites or the mainstream media says. They run their mouth over and over again. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. Calling The Marvels the #1 movie in the world. It didn't have any competition. After the first weekend, I came to realize that The Marvels should not have made as much money as it did, because Dune 2 was supposed to be competing with it. But as it stands, Dune 2 got delayed, although I wish it hadn't, to March. So The Marvels had no one to compete against. It had movies that had already been out for a week or two. So, of course, it was the #1 movie in the world with barely over $100 million worldwide. But, of course, I don't think anyone, even the naysayers, even the people who knew this movie was not going to make money, did not believe it was going to be this bad. I think my initial prediction was $350 to $450 million. I may have even said more, but this movie is going to struggle to make $250, and that's a disaster. Is this going to be something to get Hollywood, much less Disney, to realize that we need interesting characters, better movies, maybe lower the budget of the movie? Five Nights at Freddy's had a $25 million shoestring budget, made over almost $200 million its opening weekend. It was a good movie. It was decently written. It paid homage. It respected the lore. It respected the fans and put something out there that the fans would enjoy. The nonsense that Hollywood, whether it's Warner Brothers or Disney, is putting out with these superhero movies, making one change after another, fans are not interested. And it's not just the men, it's the women too. Women don't go to these movies to see the strong female character. They go to see Jason Momoa take his shirt off. They go to see Chris Evans take his shirt off and look big, bad, and buff. Why do you think Magic Mike was so popular? Let's move on. The Marvels struggled from the start with a low opening weekend and a massive drop, 78%, in ticket sales in its second weekend, which overshadowed the movie's strengths. This movie had no strengths. It had nothing going for it. It didn't. It wasn't sandwiched in between two blockbuster movies. Nobody felt like they had to see it, and it had characters in it that nobody knew who they were. Oh, it had cats. Meow, meow. It had, oh, don't do that. It had cats in it, so, oh, you have to go see it. It had not Nick Fury, that's for sure. Marvel's release comes after a string of recent superhero flops and discussions about superhero fatigue. Contrary to popular belief, I do not believe this is superhero fatigue. People are still looking forward to Deadpool 3, regardless of whether or not it is under the Disney flagship. People are still looking forward to Deadpool 3. And I'm sure that some people are still looking forward to Aquaman 2, but probably not for the same reasons that you think. Women want to see Jason Momoa without his shirt off again. They want to see Amber Heard's character get written. Yeah. How much is she going to be in the movie? But let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Poor word of mouth killed Marvel's box office longevity. Again, I find this very strange because all you see on social media is, oh, it was such a fun movie. And it's interesting that that's the terminology that everyone is using. It's fun. Well, what was fun about it? The cats? If that's all you think was fun about it, well, I did enjoy that scene, but not for the same reasons. I enjoyed the terrified screams of the people as they were being swallowed by the kitty cats. I found that entertaining, disturbingly entertaining. Oh, I enjoyed the after credit scene. If the only reason you're going to see this movie is for the after credit scene, then you're exactly the sort of shill that Marvel wants, that Disney wants. Stop asking questions. Just consume product and get excited for next product. That does not make the product itself good. The Marvel struggle at the box office seemed dire from the very start with extremely low... You're repeating the summary. Oh my goodness. Record-breaking flop is only heightened by a string of critical and commercial disappointments in the superhero genre. It's not the only movie out there that's just plain old bad, poorly received. It didn't help, of course, the Enter the Pandaverse came out. All that did was give people the go-ahead to make fun of all these movies coming out. Put a chick in it, make her lame. Put a chick in it, make her gay, make her lame. This is what's happening. The meme is coming to life right in front of everyone's eyes. Now, South Park is far more mainstream than little bitty channels like mine and other critical review channels on YouTube. So when Enter the Pandaverse came out and people saw it and people laughed at it, and then they go to the movies and go, wait a minute, this is what's actually happening in entertainment. Your average normie is starting to wake up to the nonsense coming out of Hollywood. You have movies coming out, such as Five Nights at Freddy's, that are just actually fun, that respect the source material. Then you have other movies slated to come out, Silent Night. I'm thoroughly looking forward to that, which is a basic revenge story. It's the Punisher, at least what should be the basis of the Punisher comics. The Punisher movies, Punisher TV series. Disney's going to screw that up too. The comics apparently is already screwing that up. Other movies that are coming out, just basic fun. Sisu, non-stop fun action. Why do you think John Wick's made so much money in its fourth endeavor? Equalizer 3 was a decent movie. It was a good movie. It was fun. There was no underlying message. There was no ideological preaching in the movie. Now, I'm not saying that there was any ideological preaching in the Marvels, because no, there wasn't. I'll admit that. I do not believe the Marvels was quote-unquote woke by anyone's standards. Intersectional feminism? I don't think so either. They didn't win the day automatically, although they did. It was a bunch of women beating each other up. How many comic book fans actually want to see that? Guys go to superhero movies to see big buff dudes beating up the bad guy. Women go to superhero movies to see the big buff bad guy and the big buff superhero take off his shirt and beat up the bad guy. This is what fans of the genre enjoy seeing. Ultimately, they don't care who the lead character is, but people just enjoy. In the big action flicks, let it make sense. Understand who your target demographic is, understand what they want to see, and maybe, just maybe, advertising campaign came too late, of course. We're going to blame the writer's strike. They could not advertise. Back to what I was saying before I break off. Ultimately, you need to start catering to the fan base. Stop trying to push something that you want people to like. Because the more you do that, the less people are going to like it, because you're going to have the story, the character's journey, secondary to your message. That is a recipe for failure. People like me have been talking about it for well over 5 years now, and yet Hollywood is not listening. Maybe, just maybe, the box office disaster that has been the past year for Warner Brothers, Hollywood, for Disney, maybe that will finally get them to open their eyes, and we'll get more actually fun movies, actually entertaining storylines, actually entertaining characters. And I said actually quite a few times, but I'm going to end it at that. Let me know what you think. Do you believe? I believe. Do you think the writer's strike had anything to do with the abject failure of this movie? Lack of promotion by the stars? Or do you think it was just a bad movie that word of mouth destroyed? I know what I think. Let me know what you think. Leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a comment. Appreciate you making it this far. Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving.